Of ACT, SAT, new material, and we're trying to figure out why you're not getting the scores that you need to get for SAT, ACT. The first things I do is I look into the way that your work is being displayed on the test. And so one of the key components is, obviously in math, if you're not showing your work somewhere, it's going to be very tough to get your answer. Yeah. But in reading and writing, because we're not used to marking in our books and not used to marking on things and taking notes on the side, a lot of us don't do so. But if you have the ability to go through and understand this test is throwing information at you to confuse you, and you need to use 100% denotation, no connotation at all. You can't use your own references, your own inferences of what's going on outside, but it has to be directly from the passage what they have to say, right? And in that situation, the answer choices, they might give you, in this situation, ACT gives you 4 answer choices. But in the answer choices, the moment they give you 2 words or 3 words, you got to analyze each individual word and cross those words individually out, because those are the ones that will be incorrect. They'll do especially when you have words that match up perfectly, be a little bit more careful with that, because if they're paired with another word as well, that other word should be suspect, if that makes sense, right? Yeah. Especially when they use big vocab words. If they show up in both instances, you want to be careful with that. If that makes sense, right? And then, looking through your work, if I don't see markings across everything. So number 1, having a system for your passages over there, being able to go back and mark it up to find your where the main subject is, what the author has to say, quotations, things like that. And then also a big help is going through, before you even go through all of that, I would even say a lot of kids will go and they'll go, read everything. Actually, they'll jump in. They won't even read that little social science humanities thing in the top part, because that's like instructions to a lot of us, right? Yeah. And they'll jump right into the passage. They'll read the passage, not retain any information, right? Yeah. Spend their minute or 2 minutes kind of browsing through it, but really doing nothing but wasting their time. And then they'll jump into the questions. As they go through the questions, you go back and have to reread them another time. Now, when you have 5 of that adds up in terms of time. And in a timed, standardized test, you can't waste any time in that situation. So what you got to do is give yourself notations, and also give yourself an advantage by looking ahead. All right? So instead of it being just browse through the passage to start, I would even go and say, line by line or question by question, find and make the markings in the passage where I need to. So it says in line 37, okay, go to line 37, mark number 1. The second question says vocab word of this in line 63. You go circle that specific word or underline it or box it, right? Because you're going to have to come across that and deal with it. And when you do that, specifically, if you know that that's a vocab word you got to replace, why don't you put your own word in there as you're reading so you can match it up with it later, right? Because and don't peek yet either, because if it matches up with your word, then, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what it should be, right? And remember my example about the bed of yellow flowers outside, right? Or the specific wording would be the bed of bright yellow flowers outside. And then if I give you answer choices, I would try to trick you by saying it's a bright and sunny day. Or, they're daffodils because those are yellow. Or if there's, a neon yellow color outside. Well, if they're not specific denotation, you're making your own connotation references of bright yellow making you think of the sun, right? Then that's going to give you the wrong answer choice in that situation. And they love to do that, where 3 other words in there, the bright yellow might be correct, but then they break the word sun. No, it's just bright yellow flowers. It could be raining. It could be a thunderstorm. It could be snowing and just yellow flowers sticking out of the snow. But you got to be really, really careful with it. And that kind of, a part of it is just experience of understanding, okay, well, they're not specific about that, and it could be, that part could be wrong or should be wrong. Okay? Any questions?